What is the core difference between statism and anarchism? What really sets statism apart from anarchism? At first glance, both terms may seem similar, but they representing fundamentally different views on government and authority. Statism believes in the legitimacy of the state. It sees government as a necessary force that can regulate society, provide services, and maintain order. Statists argue that some level of government intervention is essential for a functioning society. They support varying degrees of control, from minimal regulations to extensive oversight, depending on their beliefs. On the other hand, anarchism completely rejects the idea of a state. Anarchists view all forms of government as coercive and a violation of individual freedom. They believe that society can thrive without any centralized authority. Instead, they advocate for voluntary cooperation and private agreements to meet social and economic needs. For anarchists, any form of state power is viewed as an infringement on personal liberty. This distinction is particularly important for libertarians, who often oppose statism. Libertarians see government control as a form of coercion that infringes on personal freedoms and property rights. They argue that statism is akin to gang rule, where the government takes resources from individuals through taxation and regulation. Libertarians advocate for minimal or no government intervention, promoting individual self-ownership and free markets as alternatives to state functions. Some libertarians do accept a minimal state, which is sometimes called minarchism. This position allows for a limited government that protects rights and enforces contracts. However, pure anarchism takes this a step further by rejecting all state power. Libertarians often view anarchism as the ultimate form of anti-statism, believing that all necessary social functions can be handled without government involvement. In practical terms, statism justifies institutions like courts, police, and welfare programs as legitimate and necessary. Anarchism, in contrast, calls for the abolition of these institutions or their replacement with voluntary, non-coercive arrangements. Libertarians critique statism for expanding government beyond rightful limits, arguing that even minimal state functions can lead to abuses of power and restrictions on freedom. To sum it up, the core difference lies in the acceptance of state authority. Statism sees the state as legitimate and necessary to some degree, while anarchism denies any legitimacy to the state and seeks a society without government control. Libertarianism aligns more closely with anarchism in opposing statism but may differ on the extent of government that is acceptable.